Hello, it's Nicko with Food Cravings, and today we're making chicken cordon bleu, or just cordon bleu. This is a very popular dish, though shrouded in mystery. The origins of cordon bleu as a schnitzel filled with cheese are in Brig, Switzerland, from the 1940s, but is first mentioned in a cookbook around the year 1949. Earliest references to chicken cordon bleu in the New York Times is dated 1967, while similar veal recipes are from at least 1955. The French term cordon bleu is translated as, quote, blue ribbon, was originally a wide blue ribbon worn by members of the highest order of knighthood instituted by Henry III of France in 1578. By extension, the term has since been applied to food prepared to a very high standard and by outstanding cooks. The analogy, no doubt, arose from the similarity between the sash worn by knights and the ribbons, generally blue, of a cook's apron. There are many variations of the recipe which all involve a cutlet, cheese and meat. A popular way to prepare chicken cordon bleu is to butterfly a chicken breast, place a thin slice of ham inside, along with a slice of an easily melted cheese such as Swiss. The chicken breast is then rolled in a roulade, coated in breadcrumbs, then fried. Other variations exist with the chicken baked rather than fried. We'll get started by placing a sheet of plastic wrap on our cutting board. We'll also need a prep board used for processing chicken. Next, what we'll do is start trimming away the chicken breast. And by this I mean removing any pieces of bone or cartilage along with small bits of fat. Next, we'll cut our breast in half, and the other one the same way as well. Next, we'll take one of the half breasts, place it on a plastic wrap. After that, place another sheet over it to enclose it. And of course, straighten the sides. We all know how plastic wrap can get. Next, we'll ready our mallet or meat pounder and go to war. After giving the chicken breasts the beating of their lives, you want to make sure it's flat, an all-around smooth surface that's even throughout. Next, we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. So I flipped it over and start beating the hell out of it again. This time I made sure that all the pieces were flat, uniform all throughout, about 1/8 of an inch thick. See? Here's a pro tip. The name of the game here is surface area. You want to pound those breasts as flat as possible. Next, we'll bust out with some ham. And I don't mean that box-pressed, processed, canned stuff you call ham. Chicken cordon bleu deserves the best, so I bought what's known as French jambon. Next, I straightened the chicken breast flat and observed the ham magically appearing one slice at a time. The cheese also decided to join the party. Next, I began folding the chicken breast over the center of the ham and cheese. By the way, for this I used Gruyere cheese, in case I forgot to mention, but you could also use Comté. Once the meat was lined up and folded, I began rolling out, while gently pressing everything together, sort of like making sushi. It was at this time that I got a brilliant idea. This is one of the best DIY cooking hacks or pro tips ever. Check it out! So I brought out my secret weapon, none other than my bamboo mat. Don't worry, this was perfectly safe. I wrapped it in plastic wrap to ensure none of the bacteria setting on the wood. So I did my research. But anyway, look how much easier this is using the bamboo mat. It allowed me to get a much tighter roll on this roulade known as cordon bleu. So after all that rolling and pressing and flattening, it was on to the next one. And as it looks, ham started appearing on this one as well. And we also got a little more cheese. Next, it was time to roll this one out, so pay attention so you can do this at home as well. First, using the plastic wrap, you bring in the chicken side over on both sides. Then, using the bamboo mat, you continue rolling out. But here I decided to bring in all four sides to make sure the stuffing and the chicken breast was pressed in together more, because you get a tighter roll that way. So I placed the bamboo mat over it, pressing on both sides with both hands and simply pulling back. And here I saved the best one for last. On a quest for a drizzle, this time I came back with some Dijon mustard. Once I drizzled the mustard on, the next step was to brush it on, lightly of course. And what this will do is enhance the flavor dramatically. Next, we'll apply the ham as before and as much cheese as you'd like. And we take hold of the bamboo mat gently in sections, rolling and pressing through. Once that's done, we'll set it aside like we've done the other one. Here I was rolling it until closed finally. And here's a pro tip: while you roll, you'll want to gently press through and guide it horizontally throughout the entire roll. And as you see, the roulade is finally done. So I decided for the final step to make sure these hold their shape better. What I did was place these in the refrigerator 4 to 10 hours or overnight. Next, it was time to prep our breading station. So I decided to add a drizzle of water to the egg before giving it the beat down of its life. And before whisking, I also added some salt and pepper. And finally, we'll go ahead and bread our roulades. First, dipping it in flour to coat evenly, making sure to roll it around on its sides as well. And here's a pro tip, mainly about wasting flour, egg and breadcrumbs. Don't put more on than you really need. Here you'll notice I take extra flour from the sides from underneath and pat it in to make sure it coats the roulade evenly. Next, I went ahead and dunked that into the egg wash and made sure to coat that evenly as well. And what this will do is create a thick glue-like substance along the roulade to make sure that the breadcrumbs stick to it evenly. Now it was time to roll the roulade into the breadcrumbs. Let me show you another one. First, we place our roulade in the flour, pressing down gently, rolling around until evenly coated. And if you're gonna need more flour like I did here, you could just take it from under along the sides as well. And after all that patting and rolling, it was time to place this in the egg wash. After that was done, I rolled the roulade around, gently of course, to make sure the egg was evenly coated all over. Next, I dipped it into the tray with breadcrumbs. And what happened next will shock you. I discovered a technique where I would sprinkle on some breadcrumbs on the top, providing for more coverage easily. Next, I gave it a nice pat and a roll on all sides, while I added more breadcrumbs as needed. After rolling all those roulades in flour, egg, breadcrumb, and making sure they were all evenly coated, I finally did the last one while I was getting tired. I mean, talk about egging someone on. And what if they're chicken? Does that still become offensive? Oh well, I guess it's only crumbs from this point on. Breadcrumbs, that is. I was right! Now that our chicken is well breaded, it's onto the cooling rack. And if you've made it this far, you've got a little time as these are resting to come together to smash that like button and subscribe to my channel. And here's another pro tip. Whenever frying something, especially if it's breaded, make sure you set it on a cooling rack to sit for a while so that the mixture could set on. Next, it was time to drizzle on some oil, because after all, we were shallow frying these babies. So I swirled the oil around the pan to evenly coat it before starting to fry what I called the best chicken cordon bleu. Shortly thereafter, I added the other one next to it and continued to fry them on medium heat. And here's another important pro tip. You want to remember to leave these alone until they crustify underneath. Once the crustification takes place, it'll seal in all the juices and then you could rotate. As a matter of fact, I think I hear a sizzle coming on now. And what we'll do next is flip these over so they brown evenly on both sides. And you'll notice they've developed a nice crispy fond that'll seal in the juices. And you won't want to disturb these until they're evenly browned on both sides. Moments later, when these were finally ready to turn over, I decided to turn them over on the sides to let them brown. Let's take a closer look, shall we? And you'll notice as these cook and re-crisp in their own juices, they become evenly more golden brown than ever. What we'll do next is let these drain on the baking sheet. Here I was gradually taking all of them out. I let these rest for a bit before popping them into the center of a 375-degree oven. Right about now I couldn't help but admire what I had created, or in this case recreated, 3 gorgeous roulades of chicken cordon bleu. Next, we'll go ahead and pop these in the oven. And through the miracle of time, our chicken cordon bleu was done! Next, I took them out of the oven and placed them on cork mats to let them cool for a bit before officially cutting into them. Honestly, you'd have to do the same because these were so hot, it's not even funny. So make sure you wait at least 10 minutes before cutting into these like I did. And as usual, I plated it up on a bed of my secret recipe for golden rice pilaf. Next, it was time to go in for a taste. But the forecast called for a rain of parsley and some lemon zest. And that slice of lemon started to appear as a garnish as well. Now that you've learned how to make chicken cordon bleu or cordon bleu, you can dazzle your family and friends with this newly found recipe. As I went in for a taste on what I called the cordon bleu of epic proportions. The flavor was undescribable. The savoriness of the chicken, still moist, crispiness of the breaded, oh my god, like wow. Halfway through describing it, I can't even talk. I guess this is one of those recipes you just have to make for yourself to find out. And that's Chef Nicko style. I hope you've enjoyed this easy DIY recipe for chicken cordon bleu. For ingredient amount and more info, please visit www.chefnicko.blogspot.com. Bon appetit, enjoy, and I'll see you in the next video recipe.